Nowadays, it feels like every animated movie to come out is hailed as some must-watch masterpiece. Your Name? No thanks. Belle? Get that shit on my face. But this right here is something different. Allow me to introduce you to Sword of the Stranger, an absolute banger of a movie that came out in 2007 and I think I've heard about 7 times since. There's barely anything to dislike about this film, but for some reason I don't see it talked about on YouTube at all. So in the spirit of the new year, I'm here to add some absolute heat to your watch list. So sit back, relax, and let me put you on one of the best movies I've seen in all my years of watching anime. Maybe in return you could subscribe. I don't know, just an idea. Every 100 years, the Chinese country of Ming goes on a hunt to create what they call Xian medicine, an elixir with the properties to make whoever drinks it immortal. Now, I don't know the exact ingredients of this medicine, but if I'm going off what the movie says, it's about 2 parts Tylenol and 1 part orphan blood, so not exactly at CVS. This time around, the unlucky son of a bitch chosen for this ritual is a kid named Kotaro, and if he wants to outrun both the prophecy and the wacky Chinese assassins chasing him and his dog Tobimaru need to reach the Mangaku temple as soon as possible. But that's a lot easier said than done. While trying to cook up some stolen fish one night, Kotaro finds himself surrounded, and it's looking like the end of the road. But luckily for him, he's in the presence of one of, if not the coolest anime swordsman of all time, Noname. He's kind of like Captain Levi's infinitely more badass older brother, and the only anime character to make me think, am I gay? But a hero is only as good as their respective villain, and in the case of Sword of the Stranger, the movie delivers here in spades, in the form of some white guy. Alright, some white guy. This motherfucker looks like the lead singer of Nickelback, but with a samurai sword. In all seriousness, while Lo Lung might not be the most well-written character put to screen, he does actually make for an extremely intimidating villain, and they waste no time establishing that. I'm not kidding, this dude murks like 30 people before the opening credits even finish. Weirdly enough, anytime I recommend this movie to someone, I always describe it as like an adult Disney movie. You know, less musical numbers, more swords and faces. And to be honest, I feel like that's kinda spot on. The dynamic between Noname and Kotaro is super reminiscent of something like, I don't know, fucking Brother Bear. It's one of those movies where 2 people who do not like each other are kind of forced to work together and end up becoming the best of, oh my god, it's Step Brothers. This movie is just Step Brothers. No, but seriously, the relationship that's formed between the 2 main characters is incredibly nostalgic and wholesome. And if nothing else, I would recommend watching the movie just to see it play out. But there is a reason I call it an adult Disney movie. Sword of the Stranger is noticeably gory. Now, it's not like cover your eyes gross, but it's definitely a violent film, and I kind of think it benefits from this heavily. You see, with the type of brutality this movie presents comes a really refreshing sense of stakes. It almost reminded me of something like Game of Thrones. Let's be honest, there was plenty of times where that show was a fucking snooze fest. Listen, I like it as much as the next guy, but I think we all know the ratio of dicks to dragons was skewed way too far in one direction. But Game of Thrones had a way of handling its characters, so at all times, there was always a sense of anxiety as to whether they'd live or die. And if you allowed yourself to get a little too close to one, boom, red wedding. Oh, you did it again? Get Joffreyed, bitch. But there's the thing, we always did it again. No matter how many characters you'd get invested in only to watch them die, you always found yourself rooting a little bit too much for, I don't know, Jon Snow. And because of this, society parked its collective ass on the couch every weekend to see how these things would play out. Sword of the Stranger is very similar for those same reasons. Seemingly important characters will be introduced for the sole purpose of dying, and it could be at the drop of a hat. There are kids that die in this movie, like multiple. Nobody is safe. Not Kotaro, not Noname, but still, I guarantee you'll find yourself attached to at least one person while you're watching this movie. Maybe it's Mutton Chops over here, or Jirota. Hell, it could literally be this dude's bird. Someone is gonna pique your interest, and I promise you will not be able to look away until you figure out whether they live or die. Listen, I could sit around and gush about the animation, the music, or the final fight for hours, but no matter what I say, you just won't know until you experience it for yourself. So what I will do is talk about something I personally found really cool when I first sat down to watch this movie, and that's the message. I know I talk about this kind of thing on my channel a lot, but I think Sword of the Stranger is one of the most beautifully balanced anime films when it comes to conveying some sort of moral lesson. So hear me out. As cool as Noname is, the movie makes it very clear that this dude has baggage. I'm not talking the I can fix him baggage either. It's not like bros playing League. I'm talking the I had to tie my sword up so I cannot use it again type baggage. And if you've seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Noname's backstory is nothing shy of devastating, and judging off how little sleep he manages to get throughout the film, you can tell that wound is still pretty fresh for him. Sometimes in life we do shitty things. Now, obviously I hope no one can relate to what Noname did, but but at one point or another, we've all made a mistake, and the harsh reality of things is that sometimes the memory of that mistake can haunt you. But if there is anything we can learn from Noname, is that our past does not define who we are. We are the sum of our mistakes, accomplishments, failures, and everything in between. The way I, and apparently the writers of this movie, see it, so long as you're making a conscious effort to be better than you were, everyone has the potential to be great. You will make mistakes and you're bound to fail at some point. That goes for Noname, that goes for you, and that goes for me too. But I think we can all find solace in the knowledge that it is our character and the actions we choose to carry out on a daily basis that truly represent who we are. So my advice to you, to myself, and to Noname is to live every day working to become someone that you'll be proud to have known. Don't let life pass you by while you're stuck dwelling on the past. Peace.